I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for coming for this evening. Sorry, it's a pleasure. You guys are Josh.
No.
Does anybody else need that?
I've got mine and I've written all over already.
Okay, so, start. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Motion made by Gary. Have a second?
Second it.
Josh. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This time we take a moment for public comment. Thank you. Consent items. Do we have a motion to approve the consent items?
Motion.
Motion by Joe,
Second.
second by Ron. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Discussion items, insurance proposal.
Once again, this is the insurance proposal from Winona Agency. They went out for bids, and EMC was the winning bid and actually the only one. They, the other companies, they, went to Riverport, who had been, our insurance, supplier before, and they declined to offer a bid because they saw EMC's rates and they knew they couldn't compete. And, then there was another company that they were looking at, but they also declined. And so EMC is basically the only insurance company that's staying with schools. There's a lot of insurance companies that have gotten burned lately by large claims at schools, and so they are getting out of the school insurance business. Looking at this, because our workers' comp went down by 8,000, because we've had fewer claims, and so our rate multiplier went down. We're going to see a 7% savings in insurance in the next year. The auto insurance, that one, in some cases, for some other clients, has really gone up, but ours just had a little bit of an uptick. But I'm very happy with the insurance coming in 7,000, because usually with the same coverage, you don't expect insurance coverage with the same coverage for the price to go down the next year. And this is all with the exact same coverage.
So we're gonna approve it next time.
Yep.
Anybody have any questions on the proposal? Q-Comp?
Q-Comp, I should have had you pull this one. We don't have the final numbers yet. I just wanted you to know that you will be, at the June 1st meeting, we will have the final numbers as far as the number of teachers that reach their goals, the number of teachers that, as far as getting stipends, we will have all that information. And so that will be coming for the board next time. And we don't have the numbers yet because the year isn't done yet.
Okay. So, moving on. Anybody have questions on that before I go on? Thank you. Preschool.
Insurance has to be approved tonight. Oh, I am sorry. Insurance has to be approved tonight.
So, we go back to the insurance proposal. Do we have a motion to approve the insurance? Got a motion from Michaeline.
Second.
Second by Ron. Any further discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
Thank you very much. Sorry for the,
Yeah.
As long as we got to back up, one thing on the Q-Comp annual report, have you gotten the vote from the teachers yet?
Yes,
And
Yes.
they said yes.
they said yes, and they said yes to the modified MOU. Yep.
any other questions like this? Anybody else have any?
Thank you for asking.
Thanks, Mike. Preschool rehab.
We got the quote from, the American Water Works for $16,679, and I think, is the picture on here too, that shows what they will do? Yes. So, you'll notice that we've got, they'll have to take up the ceramic tile around the base, not the baseboard we just added, but the line of tile, that will have to come up. But then we'll do, basically a drainage line, underneath the floor, so they'll have to excavate the floor, and then it will pump out to, we'll use one of the existing pumps, and then we'll put in another, sump pump, where it says TS.
They're
And
gonna
so
replace that sump pump, right? They're using the location,
Yeah.
because that is
Yeah.
something not.
And so then it shoots it out, I wanted you to see it shoots it out to the street. But then, they said with this, with the lateral lines underneath the building, they can guarantee that we will never get water in that preschool again, in the base, at least from groundwater. If the toilets overflowed, this isn't gonna do much for that, but, as far as groundwater, and I personally can't wait to get this done, because at about 5 this morning, when I heard my sump pumps click in, the first thing I thought was the preschool. Well, Andy Sweet had beat me to the punch. He was at the preschool at 4 in the morning, checking to make sure it was still dry. So there are a lot of us that, once this is in, we'll just be able to sleep.
How does this look for the, budget plan?
Sorry?
How does it look for finances, budget, monies to pay for this?
Well, part of this will be paid through,
HVAC.
yeah, HVAC preschool incentive dollars.
Hmm.
And we still have capital money left for this year, but the balance will come up.
So we're
Can we
okay.
get this done before the end of June?
Oh, yeah, it will take them 5 days, as soon as it's approved, then it will be a 1-week process in June, so we're already asking the teachers, to box everything up at the end of the year and just put it upstairs. And then we'll know that this building will be off limits for any of, hurricane watch, but hurricane watch now would stay in the elementary school, because they're not going to be, displaced this summer, and the elementary building is now air conditioned for them too, so.
So with this cost, that covers the whole, putting it in, covering it up, putting it back to the way it was, right? Clean up the whole 9 yards, painting, any of that, or is that extra? Is there anything that we have to
I
do
don't think
there?
there's anything that needs to be painted.
Okay, I just wanna make sure that we don't have any.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we have,
Start to finish bid.
right, that's good.
Well,
good input
that's-
in.
In most of we might have some cost with redoing some tile. But remember, in the middle, we bought all those,
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
the rubber
Just-
grids, so
as
that
long
we
as
can
you're
just pull
putting
those up
concrete
and
back
put them
over
right,
it.
right.
Yeah.
Yep,
Oh.
this includes putting the concrete back down.
How's the water taken out to the street?
It's pumped from 1 and 2,
What do you
so,
mean? There's a sidewalk in there, isn't there?
Yeah.
So does it go over it or under it, or how's
Under
that?
it.
I would think underneath. That's what I didn't want.
and most of the time when you get them commercially installed like this, it goes right through the curb, and then they redo the curb,
Oh,
cause that's the way. your
That's the way
sh-
they did it
Yep,
at
that's
the
what,
office.
yep. That, mine is through the curbs.
so that pipe is underground then?
Mhm.
Okay.
So you get that nice.
No, I know Larry
Gutter
Jervis
look
has
outside.
it, but he's got a big backyard, so they just ran it out in his backyard. But I don't think we have that luxury.
No,
And remind me, do we have some, history with this company then, or we've had
The town has a history with them.
and so they're good on their
Oh,
word.
yes, yeah, it's, I think they've done several basements.
So I know Larry had his done, and then before that, his was continuously wet.
With this company.
And he had it done with this company, and, he hasn't had a problem right now, his sump pump's basically running steady. So, yeah, it works good. Basement stays dry, and that's what we need. I mean, we can't be mopping up every time we
But
have
it- that's
an
a-
emergency.
Which is why, some people might ask why we're getting HVAC preschool dollars for this. With the early childhood special education students that we have in the preschool, for them to get relocated out of they were used to and get out of their routine, it is incredibly difficult for them, especially some of those little ones that are on the autism spectrum. It sets them back in their education because they're not used to it, they don't have their routine, and so we thought we've gotta make sure that we never have that where they have to be relocated, again, if we can control it.
When do we have to approve this, Gwen, to make it happen? Next meeting? Or do we have to approve it yet tonight?
No, we can
Gotcha.
approve this, I told Andy that it would be approved at the June 1st meeting.
Okay.
So he let the company know that they should probably keep us and put us
On
in the
calendar.
schedule, the beginning of June.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions on this? Strategic planning?
Oh, one thing, Mimi asked about making sure that we tested for radon, and that might be an additional cost, but it's definitely something that we would do right away, because at any time you're opening up the concrete. So I wanted to make sure that got addressed.
Good enough.
Well, I know they do radon abatement. I don't know, they do radon abatement too,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, so we'll just have them do
Or
that.
mitigation, or what do you call
Right.
it, I forget. Raid off.
Right off. This news spray that came. Okay, strategic planning. Okay.
We've been having lots of meetings, to the point where today I said, my goal is to make sure that this July we have one board meeting. But finance met, and we created 2 goals for budgeting and finance. We also talked about the preschool rehab, as far as putting that in the budget, and then also the other thing we talked about is moving servers and getting our own servers instead of buying them from Ace, because that would be, it would be $36,000 now to do that, making sure we've got the redundancy, the 4-hour response. If there's something that happens, Hewlett Packard would be here, and we've got all the different storage, so we're sure that we've got the redundancy and the storage and all of that's built in. But it would pay for itself with what we're paying out of pocket. That would pay for itself in 27 months. And this system will last 6 to 7 years. And even if it lasts 6 years, that means we've got almost 4 full years where we're paying ourselves back.
Now, what
And
does
so-
Ace Tech have to do with this? Anything?
Right now, we're purchasing the server space from them.
No, I mean, if we were to change
They
to this other
already,
system,
they already,
what do they have? Are they part of this at all, or are they not part of
they
it?
would not be part of,
Okay,
would
so
just
they
get our
aren't
stuff.
they aren't gonna charge us anything different than what we would normally pay.
Right, this summer, they're asking us to migrate all of our stuff from one of their servers to another server. They asked Dependable to do that, to do the migration. And so since we're paying for Dependable to migrate things from one server to another, we might as well have them migrate it to our own servers where we're gonna save money. So, but that would have to come to the board for approval, and so this is your discussion on it for approval, June 1st.
Anybody have any questions on that part of it?
I'll send you the whole spec in the superintendent update, and then that will all be on the board meeting for the 1st. Also for strategic planning, the curriculum group met and started writing goals. The professional development group met, and Michaeline, you attended that one?
We've written goals, we're writing strategies, we'll bring them back to the big meeting next week.
Yep. And we just talked about a little bit of the marketing online today as well. And then the next meeting will be the 23rd, where we're going to be compiling the goals that have been written and the strategies to get those goals. So the whole group will get all of that on the 23rd. Questions on it? Right now, it feels like we are running a marathon at a sprint pace. And maybe that's because I'm in the middle of it, it seems really like a whirlwind, and it's not that much, but.
It is a lot. No, it's daunting.
It's going to be good.
Yep, if we stay with it.
Yep.
I mean, if we continue to run the marathon and don't just quit when we run out of breath. And then walk away from it.
Yeah. No, this is why we're doing this, so that the goals and the strategies keep that strategic plan alive and give us something that we can continually check to see if we're hitting those benchmarks, if we're getting closer to achieving the goal.
Any other questions on that? Okay, moving right along. Old business, items for discussion and approval. MSHSL participation.
We went through it last time. Any questions?
Do we need to name the rep to it?
Oh,
or
we
it
do
would
need,
just-
we do need
or-
to name the rep, yes.
But didn't we name the rep at our January meeting? And wouldn't
Yeah.
that just continue?
That's Joe,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't need to rename, didn't we name
Yeah.
him?
Right.
I mean, unless he was not,
It's just, I wanna make sure that, because it said, you know, is that still the person we want? And that's still okay?
I'm busy with that.
motion to
Yeah.
approve
Had
MS
to vote on it.
HSL participation with
Okay,
Joe as our rep.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second, discussion? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Okay. Thank you. Chamber of Commerce renewal, do a motion to,
So moved.
okay, motion by Mimi,
Second.
second by Ryan. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, the drama trip to New York, that Corinne wants to go on. 2018. So do we have a motion to approve for them to start their
I'll make the motion.
second motion? You have a second? Further discussion on it?
Who seconded that?
Joe?
Thank you.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Adaptive bowling, we heard that last time. Do we have a motion to approve?
It's something that has been asked, that coach, the union did, in talking to Kyle Kaler, he said the union would be supportive of an MOU with the head coach. Since it's just 2 days a week instead of 5 days a week, he was supportive of having 40% of a head coach, because it's 40% of a season, basically. And so that would be right now, the head coach then would get $2,045.99. So you have the dollar amount of what you're approving. And,
There's someone in mind?
no, I don't know if anybody wants it, but
That's-
once again, you don't
No, they are.
you don't know till you offer it, and also, the first question would be, what's the pay? And so now, we have it publicly stated.
Right.
Make a motion to approve adaptive bowling, contingent upon the signage of an MOU as presented.
Perfect. Good on my phone. Okay, we have a motion,
Second that.
second, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Policies for second reading, we have policy 904, 907. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Got a second around, discussion on them? Anybody wants to bring it up? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? F, policy for the seventh reading
And final,
and final.
until, well, you'll see it again in 3 years.
Policy 820, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Got a motion by Ron, second,
Second.
second by Michaeline. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Can I have a discussion after the vote? Are there any individuals who need to be made aware that we have finally formally adopted a policy
Yes,
that are
Need a
waiting
call.
for a
Yes.
response?
yes,
I'm sure they'll want copies.
okay. And I don't think I have Gordy's number, but Joe, I think you have his number,
On
do you?
speed dial.
Yeah,
I'm afraid I have it too.
okay, okay,
I'm sure they'll want a copy. So
Yeah.
that may be something that we have available,
great.
or at least location of it.
Yep.
Okay.
Now that it's approved, it'll go online in our whole
But I just
policy
wanted, you
list.
know, so you know
Very
where it's
good.
at.
Yep.
Finally.
New business, items for discussion, we don't have anything there, unless there's something that came up.
Oh, we did it already in discussion.
Okay, perfect. Announcements, important events.
I have two, both with MSBA. MSBA has, created a board evaluation online tool and sent me the link that is, we have our own Houston link. And, they said the first thing we should do is talk about it as a board, but I would really like the board to thoughtfully complete that board self-evaluation. And we will then have all the results from it and, maybe go through those. That might be new business at, a board meeting. That's probably the second board meeting in June. I don't know if we can all fill it out by the next board meeting.
So where is this link at?
I will be sending it on Friday, so please, everybody,
Take that, I'll jump.
and this is something,
We got you,
This
we
is-
got you.
this is something we've talked about doing a lot as far as that self-evaluation, and I think it will be, well, it's always good to be reflective and really look at what we're doing and how we're doing it. It's what we're asking our teachers to do with their instructional practices. It's what we're asking our students to do with their own learning. It only makes sense for us to model that same type of behavior with how we are, handling our duties and the processes that we're going through.
Is this part of membership? Or is there a cost to this?
Nope, it is absolutely, it's free for members. And so
So,
they've
because
created-
when they do their board evaluation things, they come at $600, $900, $1,200, and now this is free?
This is free.
And so what are we missing? Right?
Take advantage of it while we can.
Yeah.
They may not give us results until we pay them.
It says that if you would like to dig deeper, you could hire them to help.
Right,
Just
So-
tantalizing you.
The deeper digging is what we pay.
Yes, and so at least this will give
Maybe
us,
shovels in.
a way to really start that conversation. And as we're starting the conversation, if it's something that we feel we need more help getting through, then we can call MSBA, because we talked about that before, when we talked about, and that's how we got into the strategic planning, because we talked about locking ourselves into the escape room,
Escape room.
which really would look cool, but, this is free, let's try it. Okay, and then the other thing is from MSBA, keep August 7th. It's a Monday, free. It is the MSBA, back to school conference.
Where's that?
That's up in Brooklyn Center again, and, if, you know, Gary, you've gone before, Mike-Lean, you've gone before, it's very good. And, I have no idea really what's going to happen legislatively. I don't know if they will be able to get it done by next week.
5 days, 6 days.
Yeah, they don't have much time left, and they're still
Well, they're
million.
moving now, though.
Yeah.
Things are moving a little
Yes.
bit.
I don't know if they'll get it done, I don't know if there'll be a special session, but it's, it will be an interesting one to listen to, I'm sure.
Is that it?
Yep.
Okay. Meeting in committee afterwards. We had an online meeting
We
today.
just had the online meeting.
Yeah, we talked about enrollment. Fran, I'll let you give a summary on that, because I didn't write it all down.
Oh,
Or re-enrollment, I should say.
re-registration, right now, 55.9% of our kids have said that they are coming back, but we still don't know about 30.4. And so we need to get the teachers to really reach out to those kids and find out if they're coming back, and if not, where they're going and why. Last year at this time, we were almost 10% above that, with 64.1% re-registering, and we only, there were only 18.9% that we didn't know about. So, that's a full, 12% difference.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So you said at this point, I sat in on the committee meeting, but you had mentioned that at this point or soon, you would start sending out letters, reaching out. So the reaching out has been by email, by K-mail or whatever is used, and by phone calls to the parents, to the students, to both? Does it depend on the age?
It depends on the age.
Do we have, in their data, do we have their cell phone numbers?
Yes.
Can we send a text? I just read an article on, this was not to re-enrollment in K-12, but it was the summer slag. So spring, everybody's just tired of thinking about it, and they let it go until August or whenever. But text messaging is being used by some districts, by some colleges and universities to try and get their students before they're gone for the year. I'm just thinking of something different. I know we talked about social media marketing, but if you have their data, it would seem like it might be possible to send out an inviting little text or call us.
I don't know if the teachers have the capability.
We don't have it enabled in Blackboard Connect
No.
for text messaging.
I'm gonna look into it.
So look into it, see how we can make that happen.
I get free pie from Perkins via text.
There you go.
Not saying I've ever taken them up on it, but
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
right, text messaging was work.
Well, it's just there. It's something that you were gonna do, and then that's
No,
right
it's some
there.
digital is like we talked about at the meeting, Michael, and that's the way it's going. And texting is,
This article you read about it, do they consider it to be useful? I mean,
Yes.
is there data on it that says?
I
yes,
don't
it's helped?
know, I'll have to go, I can send you the article or look at it, but I think they felt that it was something to slow the washout with lots of students catching them before they go in a different way than just signs all over campus.
Well, I know emails can just get lost down the line there.
Oh,
Whereas
they
text
can.
is, a text you're gonna see, just like answering the phone.
Well, it's just pops in, anyway,
Well,
just.
texting is also being used to update parents for, students that are dropping below a certain threshold, just to catch their attention.
Sure,
You know.
but it has to be enabled, I mean, it shouldn't, otherwise it would be too weighty to do with the number of students, but it should be able to be automated if you have that information.
The other thing we talked about in the meeting was a remediation plan, and we've been working on this for a couple meetings now, and Angela and the team has put together suggested new levels of remediation for the kids that are behind in math and reading. And so what we've went over the couple meetings is that we're going to add in some new curriculum pieces. I don't know if that's the right term for them, but one of them is Alex Math, which we're using in the high school here. And there was a different math program that they were using, and they're gonna get rid of that. They're gonna use Alex Math. And then there's some reading ones as well. And so what we're gonna do for this first year, did we decide this in the meeting for
Yes,
sure?
yes.
As an approach?
Mm-hmm.
So there's different tiers that Angela suggested, and for this next year, we're going to introduce this new curriculum, which will help them try to catch up, and we're gonna see how much of an effect that has, and then determine if next year we need to hire some additional teachers to be able to pull the kids and have an additional hour of math if needed. So we're gonna see if this helps bridge the gap of what we're seeing, or if we need to take it another step next year and hire more staff to help, or if this is successful, we can continue with this curriculum.
So I did have a question based on that conversation as well. I understood the presentation of the tiered approach. So can we also track numbers of students who are being served and successful? I mean, can we get some data to find
Yeah,
out?
that's, for us
because-
to make this, for Angela to say that it didn't work.
Well,
we would
because
need to see
Angela,
the
there's a
numbers.
certain number of students that will be helped by tier 1 and a certain number by tier 2, and it's getting to that tier 3 and tier 4 that are gonna require some budget and some bigger investment rather than shuffling funds. It would be good to know the number of students that need to be served and or the number of students that have been benefited at each of the levels.
Yes,
So.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely correct.
and that's the same kind of request we made of Todd in the high school with the Alex
Continuous
program and the continuous math. And when we're making a change, I think that's something for consistency, we always need to make the change with that kind of expectation that there will be data gathered from this change, so we can evaluate whether the change was positive or whether the change needs to be tweaked.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, and I'm just suggesting, not that it isn't there, that we capture the benchmark, the numbers at the start.
Yep.
Otherwise, we do a program and then we come back with numbers, but we don't remember where we started.
Okay. We'll get with Angela on that.
Yep.
I
Anything
talk
else?
to her daily.
Meetings, or anything else you want to bring
No,
up?
I think that's pretty much it.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on that meeting? Thanks, Steve. Any other committee updates? I know you had finance, and you already talked about that a little bit. Is there any questions on that for anybody?
Do you wanna talk about preschool or not?
Oh, in looking at preschool, with the Pathway 1 and the Pathway 2 dollars we're getting for the financial need-based students, we can take the money that we're getting from Collaborative, and that would basically cover the other kids that don't qualify based on financial need but they would qualify for the collaborative scholarship by just being a Houston resident. And so we could basically do preschool for free without, because we can't get the pathway 1 and 2 if it's free, because the pathway 1 and 2 is based on the cost of the preschool. And so that's why we need to come up with another way to do a scholarship for those other kids that don't qualify for the financial need. And that collaborative dollar can, so we'll send letters out, saying, you know, for, if they qualify for pathway 1, we know we have a letter for them. If they qualify for pathway 2, we have a letter for them. For the other resident kids, we can send out a letter saying, we have this other scholarship for you if you would like to attend preschool.
Cool.
And where is that coming from? The state?
No, it's a county collaborative.
County collaborative dollars.
And where does they get their money from?
From
Random
federal, from the
moments.
state, and from.
Random moments.
Don't ask. They're very complicated.
But that's honestly where it's
That's-
from. That's,
They do
they
spot checks.
do spot checks, and they call people at random moments to see if they're in what category of work they're doing, and if the people respond with they're in category, I think it's J through N, then that generates funds.
And you
Well,
never
that's
know, you never know the data they're collecting, and it's all you do is get the funds.
State.
So as long as we get the funds, then we can offer it to our
Well,
students.
some of
It's
it
great.
comes
Or is
through
it
from
federal?
federal, it's both, I think.
It's state and
It's
federal.
very behind the curtain, it's,
I'm still trying to
magic
figure
money.
out, and it's, the formula is rather nebulous to me, and I don't like formulas that are nebulous, because I like to see the math.
it's magic money that could go away next year, but as long as we have it.
So at this moment in time, we can offer it,
Right,
so.
in this
and we wanna
moment in
make
time, we
sure
can
people
offer it.
understand that this year we can offer it. It may not be a continuous thing at this time.
And maybe voluntary pre-K will get approved next year, I don't
At
think it'll
this
get
time.
approved this year,
Well, again, Corinne, we don't wanna
yeah.
assume anything.
No, you know what happens when you assume.
So what you're saying is we're gonna send out letters to parents that have preschool eligible children and
But
offer them these 3 options.
They have to be residents of the district, so we can't open it up to outside the district.
Right.
Because the collaborative dollars can only be used for
No, that's-
students in the district.
So as a parent though, I'm just gonna get a letter that's customized to me, right? So I'm not gonna be confused about pathway 1 or,
No, if you don't qualify for pathway 1 or pathway 2, you don't get a pathway 1 or pathway.
and what if I haven't registered and you don't know if I qualify? Like, what are we,
Why would they fill out the same financial?
what are we sending people that might
Because
be
we got the
potential?
But
names of-
census data, you have to use census data, right?
We got the names of people that qualified for pathway 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that comes from the state.
But there's a new-
Pathway 1, they have to apply for themselves.
Oh, pathway 2 comes from the
Pathway
state.
2 comes from us, yeah.
Pathway 1, they have to apply for. But
Isn't that part of
Can you put that
enrolling?
in the newsletter?
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
wondering if, for instance,
If you moved here.
I haven't, I moved here, or I've never sent my kids to preschool before because it's been so expensive, or I've just never looked into it, but I have a kid that's eligible. I'm looking at this from a marketing perspective. How are we going to,
Reach
what
out
are
to
we
that
going to send to that
Oh.
person to encourage them to send their kid to preschool? Are you gonna steer them to apply for pathway 1? Are you gonna say, why don't you come talk with us and we'll help you fill out an enrollment
I'm
form?
pretty sure they get an information packet on everything, based on preschool age for our district. So everyone in the district that's preschool age gets a packet saying what's available to
I mean,
them.
I'm all for this.
And if it's pathway 1, they have to apply themselves.
This would be just a
And then
one-year
pathway
thing,
2
because it's
we
not-
determine who gets them.
But you know what I mean?
And then
But
from
maybe
there,
saying
we-
there's gonna be
we
kids
have
that
to
want
add
to
on
go
to
outside
the
the
procedures.
Right.
She said
I will
have
make
to be
sure I write
residents
an
of Houston
article
School District.
in Education Matters,
They can't
which
be
is
held
coming
in-
out
Oh, no,
beginning
I
of
follow
June.
I think it's better, honestly, to reach out to the people individually.
Oh,
Even if
no.
it's a phone call, I mean,
Yeah.
we're looking at what, 20 kids?
Yeah.
Enrollment.
you know, if you could call them and back to Michaeline's point, I would like to track a baseline here too of what was our enrollment and then what was it, you know, did they originally sign up for 2 days, now they switched to 3 days, or they did 2 and now they switched to 4, as soon as this information was available, or they were on the fence and now they're signed up. How big of an impact did it have?
And that's something, right now, we know that historically, the collaborative dollars will cover it. If all of a sudden, everybody comes out of the woodwork and wants this,
That's what Josh was just saying.
the collaborative dollars won't cover it, and I'm not sure the building can house it. So then we
Well, we have limitations and
Yeah.
that can be part of the discussion if you know, when people send it in. We have a limit on how many kids we can accept. We have an idea of what's out there, but if people start moving to Houston because of this opportunity, you know.
Well, but one of our first goals is to make sure every kid is prepared for kindergarten.
Oh, yeah. Well, no,
Can't think of a
no,
better way to do it
I wanna
than to
do
get them in
this. It's
preschool.
nice to
Yeah.
do it and nice to offer them.
I'm all for it, I'm just curious to see how it plays
Just
out.
make sure we can
and
cover
how it
it.
changes.
Not only the cost wise.
But we should document it so we
Yep.
know, you
Yep.
know, hey, our enrollment was 5 and it jumped to 25 or
We
whatever.
could eliminate Looney Valley Township,
Yeah, cut us off.
not Muddy Creek.
no,
Muddy
you
Creek.
know.
He's in the city limits, we're all right.
Yeah, right, on the edge, so I'm not. Okay. So, anything else on that? Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, more to come on that, obviously. Any other feedback? Anything? Nothing?
I have just possible future agenda item, or is
Yeah.
that what you're moving on to?
Yes.
Mhm.
Being part of this Future Readies framework discussion, I think one of the things at some point, whether later this summer or in the fall, we need to have another joint leadership, board leadership meeting to kind of bring everybody who's not been, everybody up to speed. And
When do you think it'd be prior to school starting probably?
I don't know, I'm just saying, you know, we kind of have disseminated these tasks out to islands of people. And if I wasn't involved in as many of them as if I was you, I'd be wondering exactly what's going on. And so I'm just thinking there might be an opportunity to sort of all make sure we're all on the same page.
I think we should be much sooner than the fall. I think.
Well,
in a month or two, you know, just
We
even
gotta
as
find
a,
out, no, we
what's
don't.
going on.
Corinne's
Are you
goal
talking
is
about-
one meeting in July, so
No.
it has to be.
Well, let's try to
August.
plan, look at what's out there as far as dates, stuff that's already on the
Well, we have to
calendar.
meet as a big group again.
Yeah, we do
and-
have to meet as a big group.
And then talk
And
to
it,
the
and maybe
others
it
and
isn't
kinda-
appropriate, I'm just suggesting, in my mind, it's a very possible, likely.
And it may be just one of those things that's like the day before they start the in-house stuff.
I
for
think
school,
that
You know,
to speak to Mimi's point, I think the end of August is way too late to do that, because as the principals and the leadership team is really looking at, okay, here are the strategies, here's all the goals together, and so you see the whole breadth and depth of everything that's been done. It's big, and this is only half of it, because next year, as we're going through and doing it, we also have to be looking at space and time. We have to be looking at the community outreach. We have to also be looking at, what was the other one that we haven't done?
that's fine.
Space and time. Oh, data and privacy. Are we, as we're expanding,
So let's
as
look
we're
at the
expanding
beginning of
Facebook, are
August.
we,
I think June we can meet. I mean, I don't think we should
June?
be scared. So I would rather not wait too
June isn't
long.
on the corner.
I know, but we're
Yeah,
getting
but-
together as a group next week.
yep,
And so there, in theory, stuff's getting rolled up next week and
Plus the fact that,
Shortly after that, we
you know,
could-
our 2 meetings are early in the month, so we
Right.
actually have 2 Thursdays after the meetings that we could pick one.
yep.
I just think if, I don't think you wanna wait till it's completely done. I think that the
No.
leadership team and the board needs input. Like if they're off track, we need to we need to ask the right questions and say, you know, hey, with this one goal, I don't know if that aligns with what we were thinking, and do that sooner than later.
I agree.
You
I
know.
was just trying to be respectful of the time.
Right, well, we do have the June 8th is in between June 1st and June 15th board meetings.
Yep, it is.
Call me Captain Obvious.
Anyway, it's just a
Yeah.
thought for you
Okay.
guys to be thinking about. Maybe we can talk about it as a large group next week too.
Yep.
Okay, anything else? So do we have a motion to adjourn? Motion made by Joe, second by Ron. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you all for showing up.
Thank
It was
you.
a pleasure. It was enjoyable.